Y'all better get a jump start on y'all New Year's resolution. I know y'all fat ass done sat up and ate all that damn Thanksgiving food and leftovers for 3 days. You better get some of this tea to purge yourself and some of this NutriBurst to give you energy to work out. Drop down in the description box and click the link to purchase this and other fine health and wellness products. So there just is no escaping this story as much as I wanted to stay away from it. The suspicious death of Shanquella Robinson. Want to talk about it? We don't want to talk about it, but here you go. That's a girl y'all have been trying for the longest to get me to talk about Shanquella Robinson, and don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of my friends personally about this case, but I wanted to wait before I got on YouTube to talk about it because I wanted to wait for the case to unfold. I mean, this is not one of those situations where you just start shooting off at the mouth publicly without trying to amass as many of the facts as possible, and I wanted this conversation to be more fact driven than emotional driven. So just like everyone, let me first start off by saying I to this day have not seen the video. I don't want to see the video. I'm not a fan of like seeing people get brutally attacked like that. And thank you to all the people in my circle who had enough common sense and decency to not send me that in my inbox or text it to me. So I have not physically seen the video, but I've heard all the conversations surrounding the video, and I must say it's very sad, and there is a lot that we must digest. So, upon first glance, we just find out, this young woman from the Carolinas area goes to Mexico with some friends. We first find out that she's supposed to be there with her male best friend, and these other people are some people that she went to college with. She kind of knows them, kind of don't know them well enough to go on a trip. She get in a fight, a whole bunch of, somebody's fighting her. Everybody's standing around watching. Somebody's recording. And then she somehow is dead. They end up back in the United States, tell her mama that she had alcohol poisoning, and then kind of go on with their lives. Well, as things begin to unfold, somehow or another, this video surfaces of this young lady attacking Shanquella, and then we find out from the autopsy that she had a vertebrae injury and a spinal cord injury, and that ultimately was her cause of death. And now everybody is mad, saying everybody need to go to jail. I think I got it in a nutshell as to what we heard and what we thought in the public. But there's a lot to digest here, right? So first and foremost, y'all, a lot of people were on the internet. Of course, everybody's got their opinions. They was just jealous of that girl, and they did that, and everybody need to go to jail, so on and so forth. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Emotionally, I share that sentiment. I feel like there was some type of underlying tension, and oftentimes with female groups, especially because they said that this girl had two successful businesses, it is not hard to surmise that maybe the other young lady or young ladies were jealous, and this is why this happened, right? That's not far-fetched. But we have to be objective here, right? And we don't know that. We can guess it, we can speculate it, but we don't know that. As a matter of fact, we have not heard any interviews or gotten any statements from anybody involved in this Shanquella Robinson case. The only thing factual that we have from an authoritative standpoint is the fact that an arrest warrant in Mexico has been issued for Dejanay, the girl that was recorded fighting Shanquella, and that Mexico is expecting the U.S. to extradite her ass back to Mexico. That is all we know from an authoritative standpoint so far. The mother has done an interview saying that the young man that was supposedly her best friend, he that was recording it and saying, Quilla, are you at least going to fight back? That he came by the house 4 or 5 days in a row after they got back, after she died. And then when he found out that the family got the autopsy report, he stopped coming around. We know that. We also heard from another young man that said he was not there. He shows his airplane ticket saying, I was not there at the time of the incident. Then he goes on and his story gets a little sketchy. And he says, you know, when I got there, I checked on Quilla, and he says, I didn't leave Quilla's side, yada, yada, yada. We know that's a lie because she ultimately ended up dead. So this is where I want to start the conversation. I want to start the conversation with who should go to jail and who should not go to jail. Okay. Now, hands down, unrefutably, the young man who was not present in the room should not go to jail for murder. Okay? Now, if he was aware of something that happened to her prior to him getting there, if they called him and told him we just whooped Quilla ass, if they sent him text messages, I don't know. Knowing the way friend groups operate, they probably did tell him something. I know we mad. I know we in our feelings. I know we in our emotions. But the young man was not physically in the room. So here is where I'm going to start. While I think it's fucked up that anybody who had knowledge of this situation did not do what we deem morally correct, which is call the authorities, call for help, call her mama, we can't take away from the fact that he was not in that room and did not have nothing to do with what was going on in that room. He was not there. And when I went down to Florida State University and got my degree in economics, they didn't teach me nothing about the law. I don't know or not if it's illegal that you know something and you don't tell it. I don't know if that's illegal or not. I'm leaning towards it's not. Now, is it morally incorrect? Absolutely. But I'm y'all who are lawyers in my feed, y'all let me know. I don't think that it's illegal if you know of something and keep your mouth closed. Because if so, everybody in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, should be locked up. And just about every black person that live in a gang-related neighborhood should be locked up with this whole no snitching policy. So I don't think knowing anything or seeing anything warrants you going to jail. But somebody down in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. All right. Now, everybody is like, everybody in that room should go to jail. It need to be an arrest warrant for everybody in there. Let me tell y'all something. I feel the exact same way. I feel like everybody in that room was complicit in this girl's death one way or another. But I have to pause for a minute. And I have to use my rational, logical, reasonable, objective, non-emotional mind. All right? Last time I checked, it was not a crime to sit back and watch somebody get beat up. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this. I think any of y'all on this platform can agree that that girl probably did not have any intentions on killing Shanquella. But as a result of her violent attack, the young lady ended up dead. I don't think anybody in that room had intentions of murder. But you know what they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Unfortunately, you ambushed that girl, what appears to be in a sleeping state. Whether she was intoxicated or not is still up for debate. You beat her up. She wasn't fighting back, and she ultimately died as a result of her injuries. Now look, I know we all saying everybody in that room should go to jail, but I'm asking an honest question. If we a group of friends, we go out wherever it is, you get in a fight with this bitch over here, and I'm standing here watching. I ain't touched nobody. I didn't jump in. And this person you over here fighting end up dying. Should I go to jail with you? Now, I'm just talking about the fight. Now, here is where I think, and again, I'm not an attorney, But here is where I think everybody in that room went wrong. It's one thing to say, I wasn't a part of that fight. Yes, I was there. Yes, I watched it. Yes, I didn't touch that girl. That's one thing. It's a whole other thing when the girl is seriously injured, she dies, you get your ass on a plane, and then you carry your ass to this girl mama house instead of going home talking about she was drunk and had alcohol poisoning. That's where they fucked up at. That's where they fucked up at. Because now we got a death and you are now complicit in the cover-up and in the conspiracy. Like I said, when I went to Florida State University and got my degree in economics, some people ain't teach me nothing about the law, but I ain't damn stupid. I know you ain't going to jail for just watching a fight. Because if that's the case, we all should be in jail for assault-related charges because we all don't stood back and watched a friend fight somebody, okay? Now, do I think that girl was ambushed? Do I think they all knew that the other girl was going to fight her? Yes, I do. But last I checked, knowing is not a crime. If I know you about to fight somebody, that I shouldn't have to go to jail because I knew you was about to fight somebody. But unfortunately, this girl died and y'all participated in the cover-up. And that is where I think all people involved are going to go to jail. Now, here's the thing that's interesting, right? Had y'all not recorded the situation, y'all might have just got away with it. Y'all might have just got away with it. I don't know what the rules are over there in Mexico. I don't know if they would have done a full-on autopsy or if they would have just rocked with alcohol poisoning and signed the death certificate and sent the girl on her way. I'm not sure what would have happened, but let's talk about this. Let's just say Shanquella died and they did say we're going to do an autopsy, and then we have to find out she got spinal cord injuries and neck injuries. The Mexican authorities still have the burden of proof. They still would have had to have proven that one of y'all did it. Okay? Now, I don't know what the surveillance situation is over there. I don't know what the witness situation is over there. But if all of y'all would have stood in solidarity and said, we don't know, we was in our room, and there were no cameras and no eyewitness accounts, y'all probably would have got away with murder. How to get away with murder? That's how. Y'all probably would have got away with it. But because y'all are so amped to record shit, all right, you got lost in the sauce, and now somebody ass going to jail. Because I'm going to assure you, what happened was, the minute that fight was over, Buddy, who had the video, sent it back to Carolina to every friend or whatever. Oh, y'all, look what happened. Look what just went down. I'm pretty sure he sent the video to Buddy, who said he wasn't there. And when y'all found out that damn girl had died, I'm pretty sure all of y'all went through y'all MFing phones and tried to delete that video. But the thing about it is, the video was already out. People already had it. And somebody posted it to social media. Now, I don't know exactly if that's how it went down, but I speculate that's probably what happened. That's what makes the most sense. Because obviously, I know you not going to post some shit when you know somebody died as a result of something you recorded. I'm pretty sure you fools probably was texting each other back and forth, and the FBI probably done already tapped into y'all phone and gave subpoenas to y'all phone carriers and done got all in the cloud and went through y'all messages and stuff, because y'all know delete don't never mean delete. It just mean move to the archives. Nevertheless, so quick to want to record a fight, y'all going to jail. Now listen, it goes without saying the girl Dejanay who fought her is going to jail. The question for my legal people out there is, what charge will she be charged with ultimately? I don't know if Mexico is like we are in the U.S. with first degree, second degree, third degree, manslaughter, whatever the case may be. She's definitely going to do prison time, and unfortunately in a Mexican prison. I don't know if they make allowances for if it was premeditated, if it was accidental death. This was definitely manslaughter. All right, it wasn't premeditated murder. Like I said, in the U.S., what we would consider first degree murder, a premeditated murder. I definitely don't think she went in that room and fought that girl with the intentions of killing her. If anything, it was with the intentions of embarrassing her, putting her in her place, knocking her down a peg, one-upping her. But I don't think her or anybody in that room had intentions of killing that girl. And listen, I don't want y'all to get upset with me and think I'm making excuses for them, because I'm not. I definitely agree with all of y'all. What went on was extremely vile. I'm just trying to be objective as hell and fair in my reasoning. I don't think it just would be dumb to purposely want to go in a room and kill somebody in a foreign fucking country. Like, nobody's that damn stupid. The young man that recorded the video, I think your ass getting the next arrest warrant. I don't know what the charge is. Accomplice to murder, aiding and abetting a criminal. I don't know what it is. But your ass going to jail. Okay? I think the other people in the room who witnessed it, while I think that y'all ass from a moral perspective deserve to go to jail, I think with the proper defense, y'all may not. All right? Now, they're going to have to account for why they lied to the mama, why they came back and lied. I don't know if they had to speak with authorities and they lied to authorities. If so, that's another crime. But like I said, there is no crime in sitting back watching the fight. There is crime in covering up a murder. I don't know. The law might be tricky and they might find some way to maneuver their ass out of it. But Dejanay definitely going to jail. And I think the young man who recorded the video is definitely going to jail. I think they just going to deal with Dejanay first, and they going to deal with them other ones later. And listen, I know them other people. I know y'all home shitting bricks. I'm curious to know, have y'all even informed y'all parents that y'all were on this trip with this girl? I wonder if y'all parents have retained any legal defense for y'all. I wonder if the FBI has even spoken with any of y'all. And trust and believe, baby, Dejanay is not going down by herself. Okay? Even if mama got to get over there and lie, mama not going to prison by herself. She gonna snitch, rattle, and roll. And I'm going to tell you who else ain't going. Them other girls that was watching, trust and believe, the minute the FBI knocked on their door, them hoes rolled over. They probably already had their statements written out or whatever, because they don't want to go to jail. Okay? I'm sure when the FBI knocked on their door, they said, I was waiting on you at the door. And y'all know the way court cases work, baby. The bitch that snitched first get the best deal. That's why I say I got a feeling that them other girls that was watching, they may skate away by the hair of their chinny chin chin. The whole situation is sad. A lot of y'all were making statements like, y'all need to choose your friends more careful and be careful who you be friends with. And we got to be careful with statements like that, right? Because that puts a little bit of the blame on this young lady. It suggests that she chose her friends improperly. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, we've all been tricked, duped, bamboozled, led astray, ran amok. All of us have. All of us have been in situations where we thought somebody was down for us, be it a family member, a lover, or a friend, and then they crossed us, betrayed us in some manner. I honestly don't think that anybody who owns two businesses, is college educated, and as successful as this young lady is stupid enough to go out of the country with people who she had sketchy feelings about or who she thought that would harm her. I just think the devil just got into these people. I think that we are now seeing the repercussions of a generation that grew up as middle schoolers elementary school age children and high school age children on Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of Atlanta, the things that are in the music. Like everybody, you gotta understand, and I'm not blaming the media, but the media definitely helps shapes the minds of the masses. You gotta understand, these children are in their 20s. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is on season 10, 11. Housewives is on season 14, 15, something in that ballpark. These kids are in their 20s, which means they were in their early teens when these things popped off. Excuse my nose ring. When these things popped off, their idea of conflict resolution is jumping across the table, running across the stage, hitting a bitch in their face. This is also the social media generation where you see somebody get in a fight, the first thing you do is take a video of it and put it on Snapchat so the whole school can see. Again, not blaming social media and the media as a whole, but just shedding some light and providing a bit of back information to how some of these kids processed conflict. They don't understand, I think, what we older people understand as the real world repercussions of these types of things. I mean, not to say that we 35 and olders did not fight, because we did. We jumped people after school. We did all of those things, but it wasn't the go-to. It was the last resort of sense. We didn't have social media, so we didn't make it a mission to embarrass people and want to record it. I feel very bad and I'm very angered by the young man who recorded the video, and here is why. I have been the resident gay boy a lot of times in my friend groups with girls. I have been on group trips where I'm the only guy. And yes, while I'm gay and while I have my girlfriend moments, while I'm with my girlfriends, there still is this underlining expectation for you to be the man of the group. And considering the fact that you were supposedly her best friend, I find it peculiar that you did not do everything in your power to mitigate the situation or to stop this situation from escalating as far as it did. Here's the other thing that's baffling to me, and why I don't understand the thought processes of some of our young people. Y'all went to Mexico. I don't know how long y'all trip was supposed to be. I think, at a minimum, it probably was a 3-day trip. Who goes on a trip and then day one gets into a brawl? Did anybody in that room stop and think, well, damn, if we fight on day one, how the rest of the trip gonna go? Because I know with my friend group, if some shit went down like that on day one, the rest of the trip is ruined. The energy is all thrown. Everything is off. Now, we saw a second video surface where Shanquella was walking around the villa looking for everybody because they were supposed to be getting dressed in their bathing suits to go get in a pool or jacuzzi or the beach, whatever they were to do. She was looking for everybody, and when she finally finds them, they were all in one room, and everybody was acting dry towards her. Okay? We saw that with our own eyes. Again, I ask, while it's easy for us to do this whole, they were jealous of her, so on and so forth, we do not know why they were dry with her. We don't know. We have no idea. We can't speculate. All right? For all we know, she could have done something that pissed the whole group off. Doesn't warrant her getting beat up. Doesn't warrant her dying. I'm simply saying we don't know. And we have to stop jumping on the internet, creating our own narratives out of emotion. We don't know why they was dry with her. This is what I do know. I do know people don't agree to go on a group trip and then just out of nowhere say, 1, 2, 3, we gonna beat her up. That's just not rational. That's just not logical. Again, not saying she did something, not saying she didn't do something. She didn't deserve to die, I'm just simply saying we do not know. I think once we begin to get witness statements from all of the people, we will get a more robust picture of why this situation happened. But it's just unfortunate that this young lady lost her life over some mess. Despite the fact that we don't know, I can assure you 100% it was some mess. It was some bull crap. It's complete devastation to the nation. It shouldn't even be. And while we touching on it, and I said that I wasn't going to say this part on video, but I would be being dishonest to myself if I didn't. I know people process grief differently. But for me, I just found it a little odd that every time Shanquella's mother does an interview that that I have seen, she hasn't shed a tear, she hasn't choked up, she hasn't had anybody rubbing her back to keep her afloat. And I don't want y'all to read into that too much. I'm not trying to be vile. I'm not trying to be nasty. It's just an observation that I made. You know, if simply because we are used to the crying mother saying, I want justice for my daughter and I want these people brought to justice. That is traditionally what we are used to. So observing her behavior, it just made me turn my head like a confused dog that the mom has not shed a tear. Y'all can make of that what y'all make. I guess we can applaud the movement that we are getting with the arrest warrant being issued for the one young lady. And if there are more arrest warrants to be issued, that is to be seen in the future. But y'all, that's really all I got. Ain't got no more. I mean, the situation really is sad. We don't have enough information, in my opinion, to have any conversation beyond this. I can assure you that Mexico ain't gonna play about this. Tourism is one of their biggest revenue streams or whatever. And from a public relations standpoint, this just doesn't look good. And they are going to throw the book at this other young lady simply because, you know, an example's got to be made out of her ass. And I don't know anything about this young lady's socioeconomic status, but it's not far-fetched to assume that, you know, she's just regular, and that, you know, it would probably be a huge financial burden on her family to try to get her representation. And I don't know if she gets U.S. representation or Mexican representation. I mean, she's lucky that the dollar is very strong in Mexico, so they may be able to, you know, do a couple fish fries and a GoFundMe to get her some type of representation. But either way, she going to jail. And the charge is femicide. And I had never heard of femicide before. I obviously have heard of homicide. And when I looked it up, femicide is the murder of someone based on their gender. And then I saw someone in the comments, and I don't know how true this is, but they said that certain countries have a femicide charge because they have a huge issue with people being murdered solely because they're women. And that's why they have that differentiation between homicide versus femicide. Because I have never heard femicide, and I don't know that we use femicide over in the United States. Either way, y'all, you know, I'm going to, you know, keep my eyes posted on this case and keep us updated when we get enough facts to have more conversation. And y'all stay blessed.